me to go check on my buddy.
And that's in case you fall in, you got your backpack?
No, it's going to be for padding the lip, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I might also have stuff in my backpack. Maybe I got my first aid. So if I leave it back here, I like to have all my tools with me. Alright, so similar to as we came up to begin with, I want to use this prusik to probe for any crevasses I didn't see the first time I came across this, like the one my buddy fell in. And you see here, as long as this bites, I'm not going anywhere, right? That prusik's my backup. I've also backed up the system completely by tying off the end of the rope, okay? If you miss a couple of those steps, don't worry about it. We'll give you some help there. We mainly want to get you through the main mechanical advantage system. Okay, so I'm continuing to probe along. I move my prusik only when I need to, because what happens if I give myself 10 feet of slack and it's only 5 feet to the lip and I just keep walking? I might just fall in, and then I'm going to shock load the anchor too. So that's not that great. So I get down to the edge, blah, blah, blah. Alright, now I can see my buddy down there. Hey Jethro, how you doing down there? And he's like, I'm okay. Well, aren't you going to put your prusiks on? Oh dude, I left those in camp. Okay, well, Jethro left his prusiks in camp, so I guess we'll have to set up a system to haul them out. Okay, so based on what we saw the other day with that rope cutting in to the crevasse lip, what do you think would be a good thing to do here?
Put your bag underneath it.
Pad the lip a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to pad the lip, but if the rope's really cut in to the lip, what I want to do very carefully, because this is a metal object and I'm going to be close to this rope, I could get down and try, or even with my hand, try to remove some of the snow where it's cut in. And you might let him know, hey bud, there's going to be some snow coming down on you. This is best case scenario though. Jethro is totally fine. He just fell in, but he can't prusik out. Or he prusiked as far as he could, and then he got stuck like some of us did the other day. Okay. So I cleared the lip out. Now I can actually see the rope for the most part. It is possible that the rope could be so cut in that I can't really fully get all of it out. Alright, the next thing I want to do, like most of you said already, you're going to have to come back from the lip a ways. If I can, I want to try to get the rope underneath my backpack, like this. And all we have is just a backpack down there right now. But if this was one of the bigger dudes in this group down there, then it's going to be harder to just put the rope underneath your backpack. Okay, hold on to something, like you got a little tether here. But I want to get this thing down about to where it's going to start to go over the edge. Okay, so that's about where I want it there. It's not really going to go anywhere.
So you don't clip it to the rope or anything?
No, I will. Just a second. Then I'm going to take my ice axe. I could go through this carabiner. I could clip it in if I wanted to. Away from the rope, so it's not going to cut it. Clip that in, so now I'm not going to lose my ice axe. Okay? Or my backpack, I mean. Either one. You don't want to lose any of your stuff. I don't think you'd want to be down there and have an ice axe and a backpack fall on your head. Okay, So now, what was C?
Check.
Checked on our buddy, right? Okay, we checked on him. He's down there. He's okay, but he's not going to be able to crawl out. The next step to start building our mechanical advantage is we're going to add what we call the tractor. Okay, so the tractor is what we're using to pull up with the rope. Okay, so you think of a tractor like out in the farming world, it pulls things around, right? So I'm going to add a prusik with my small rescue prusik here. We haven't used this yet. Now you get to finally see how it gets put to work. Okay. Go ahead, 3 wraps. Now at this point, we're going to hand out to all of you, some of you have them, you've been carrying them around, some of these little pulleys, okay, and some extra like carabiners. If you need to borrow some from some of your teammates, go ahead and do that. Do any of you remember the other day when Danny was talking about using a locker versus a non-locker and when we would use one versus the other? Anyone?
Use a locker when that's like a single point of failure, catastrophic failure.
Right, perfect, great. So we put a locker on both of those because if that opened up, we know the strength is reduced significantly, or if it happened to get knocked out, that'd be catastrophic failure. If something broke down here, like this prusik broke, is that catastrophic failure? No, it's not. Okay. If you have one of these little pulleys, go ahead and add one to your tractor. If you don't have a pulley, or if you don't have 2, then you can just use a carabiner, non-locking carabiner. Okay. These pulleys are helpful though because they reduce the friction. So I just pop it in through here, close this shut, and then clip it in. So what was this called, this setup? The tractor, right? Okay. Just keep in mind, you don't want to trap yourself. I wanted to have my prusik on the outside of this system, not on the inside here, okay? I'm going to go ahead and just slide this down, and I might have to move this prusik a little bit. Slide it down as close to the lip as I can. And I'll be like, alright, Jethro, I'll be back in a minute. Alright.
In order to count the 3 to 1, it's just 1, 2, and the third one you're on. Is that how you?
Well, that's 2 to 1 now. You got right.
This right here is. This would be a. Oh, what would this be?
2 to 1.
2 to 1, right? So this strand's got 50%. This strand's got 50%. So we haven't quite got it all set up yet. We're close. Here's a classic problem that happens. I've run out of rope. Okay. Remember we talked about back here how I could give myself approximately the distance that I needed to come back to here. There's a pretty simple solution for this though. I figure I'm going to need 3 arm spans to get back. So I go 1, 2, 3. Maybe we'll just do one more. Tie myself a new knot. So this is just like, this is the kind of stuff where it's just problem solving, thinking it out, okay? I know I don't want to come out of both of these, right? Because then I would only be on a prusik, and I always want to have a backup. So I could take off 1. Okay, so I'm out of 1, clip in the new one, lock it, open up the second one, clip my new, and this could be a clove as well, but this will probably happen to you, so it's good to see it. And then, oops, sorry. Take this knot out, because that's blocking me from getting back. Okay, does that make sense? You guys see that? So don't worry if that happens, just think about how you're going to get back up. Alright? So I'm not quite ready to haul yet. And I'll ask you why here in a minute. So at this point, do you remember what strand this was? Where's this going to?
Your buddy.
This is going to our buddy, right?
Right.
This is going to Jethro. Okay. This strand and this strand, where are these going?
Tractor.
To the tractor. Does everyone see that? Nice. Okay, so at this point, I'm almost ready to pull, but what's preventing me from being able to gain any progress?
The anchor in the lock.
The clove hitch, right? So see, I can start pulling on this, and I can actually gain a little bit, but there's slack here, right? Because this rope is being blocked by my clove hitch, okay? So everyone maybe come around on this side so you can see.
And your clove hitch was just your backup in case that pressing to Jethro had some things.
Right.
And so if you're going to loosen that, just from the
So we figured out this is the line going to Jethro. That's being blocked by this clove. Then I've also got this line and this line, which are going to my tractor. Okay.
So would you want to tighten this prusik before you undo that? The foot prusik?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll just slide this down because we have captured a little progress.
Right.
That was just for the example. You won't have this happen in your situation.
Well, you need to loosen enough to get the clove off, right?
A little bit, but you can also, I can get myself a little slack here on this side, pull from there,
Right.
and then I can loosen my clove.
The foot prusik will hold it.
Yep. So, now at this point, try to keep your lines separate from each other. So those are the two going to my tractor, and then this one goes to here. So at this point, some of you know what these are, some of you are maybe unfamiliar with what this is. There's a couple things we could do here to help reduce friction and also to block this prusik, okay? Because this prusik, as we start to pull, and you'll see this in a second, is going to start coming up and through here, and we don't want it to pass through this section here. So there's some pulleys out there, like this one, that are actually a prusik minding pulley. So I could just simply add this right in here, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start hauling.
And that because that blocks the prusik, that piece of equipment?
Yeah, this piece right here, this kind of outer wall. Versus this little guy, he doesn't have the prusik minding application to it. So what I could do in that situation, and what you all will practice, is I've got this little belay device, this little tube. I'm going to pass a bite up and through it. So I've got the bite right here next to this little metal piece. And then I pass this guy through here. Okay. I don't put this piece inside there because otherwise they just kind of get stuck together. And then there's my belay device hooked through here. And then I've got the rope. Okay. And don't worry if this is confusing you. You'll see how this all works here in just a second. So I'm going to pull my slack out of the system. And if this is actually an individual, it's actually heavy, not just a backpack, I'm going to come down to where I can see him. I'm going to say, alright Jethro, I'm going to start hauling you. Try to get these ropes out of the way. I'm going to use my prusik to do the hauling. And when you guys do this, you're going to have to get down on all fours and start crawling. You're not going to be able to just walk back and have this thing pull up, especially if you try to do it all by yourself. So I'm going to get down on all fours and just start moving. And you see how now the prusik comes up against this little guy right here, but it still continues to slide through.
Yeah.
You guys all see that? So unless I've got an extra person here to mine this for me, I don't want to go out past my anchor point. The reason being, if I want to reset the anchor, look how much I lose. I only lost that much, but if you actually have a person on here, you're going to lose. This is going to slide all the way back down, okay, with the rope stretch. So
If you go past the anchor, you're saying?
what's preferable is I come in, this kind of slides up to here. So I'm up in this area, like so. Okay, then what I can do is I can either have an assistant slide this down to reset it, or I can reset it if it's just a one-to-one crevasse rescue. The big disadvantage with having this long of a prusik is if I reset that, this is what, probably 2.5, almost 3 feet, right? There's rope stretch, so I'm losing a lot. So after I set this up initially and it comes up to here, if you can, clip this in to that loop so it's shorter, okay? Now, I'm only losing like an inch every time. Does that make sense?
What did you clip in? I got a little confused with the last piece.
Okay, so originally, let's say I get up to my anchor here and I want to reset this, because I don't want to keep going past and then lose all this and then have him kind of shock load as he comes down. So this slides up all the way to my anchor here. There's different ways I could do this. I could make a clove hitch right here and clip that in. I could tie a figure 8. If there's enough space, I could just clip that other end of that loop. So now we're basically going with that. If you can, from the get-go, if the person who's arresting the fall for you is close enough, then just use a waist prusik, okay? But shortening this up is going to help you out significantly, okay? So now I let go of the rope, the weight's back on him again. I only lost like an inch, okay? So let's say I've started pulling and I actually need to reset the system because what's this called?
Tractor.
The tractor's all the way up to that point, which we call the ratchet, okay? So if I want to reset the tractor, I'll just break the bonds on this prusik here, and I'll just keep on sliding this down, okay? Now he's almost to the edge here, especially if we had like 4 people all hauling at the same time, I mean, we could just start running down the hill and just haul this guy up. But remember the other day when there was that big undercut? If we did that and you were on the end of the rope, you could just start smashing into that wall as the rope is cutting in. And this is pretty gruesome, but people have been fully cut in two basically by their harness because people got a little too excited and just pulled them right through. Okay, so it doesn't hurt to have somebody down here kind of watching, saying, all right, they're almost up here. Okay, slow down, okay, and then maybe just help them up and over. Okay.
And you just have that person hook on with a prusik or something.
Yeah, they could hook on with a prusik, or come down and take a look. So this guy's almost up. We've almost got Jethro up here. So we just reset this just to show you. Okay, here he comes. Okay, if I need to reset this again, I just slide this down. Again, what was this called?
Ratchet.
The ratchet. Okay. Before I'll answer questions here in just a second, I just want to explain one thing here really quickly. I'll show you something really quickly. The idea behind using this belay device. And if you want, you don't even have to use this pulley. If this gets too confusing, don't worry about it. Just add the belay device and clip it in. And what does this replace?
Your assistant.
Nope.
The pulley.
Remember we took something out here?
The clove
Oh,
hitch.
The clove hitch, right? So we had a clove hitch.
That was your backup to the Prussic.
Right.
Okay.
So we had this clove hitch. And we had our 3-to-1 all ready to go. Is everyone on board with that? Okay, for the most part. We wanted to start pulling, but this was blocking our ability to gain any progress. All right. So we took this out, and if we just clipped that bite back through here, as we started to pull, somebody would have to be here to mend this or to mind this, because if this thing flipped and got onto the other side of here,
Yeah, it's only
we
on-
wouldn't be able to close or lock this back down into place. Does that make sense? It'd be on the wrong side. Okay, so it's a pretty simple solution for us. If we don't have one of those Prussic mining pulleys, and if you want to borrow mine, you can. Is you just put a bite through this belay device and then clip that in. And now